Question number 2 says that in the body of organization, in the body organization, pattern of an animal in the left and right sides of a body are mirror images each other. It's called blank. When we say about this, the right and the left part are mirror image to the other. When we see like the graphs of inverse function and the graphs of the relation are mirror image to the other in y equals to x plane, like that. When we say about the mirror image, we're going to consider the three probabilities. The first one is bilateral symmetry, second one radial, the third one is asymmetry. The first one says that radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is a kind of symmetry where a body can classify into mirror images from different origins or from different coordinates. It can be from the stomach, from the thorax, from the head, or something. They can be formed mirror images from different parts. So it's not radial symmetry. Asymmetry is a kind of body shape that the body can doesn't have any mirror image. If it's classified by an axis or something, it doesn't have any symmetry like bacteria or sponges. Those are asymmetry. They doesn't have any axis that divides them to two mirror images. C says that bilateral symmetry. Yes, bilateral symmetry is the answer. The question number third says that which of the following developmental process develop into germ layers? When we say about this, we have to see the process of the productions of the cell. When we say about production of the cell in the animals is produced from two gametes, the male and the female gametes, and they will fuse to give a zygote. After zygote produced, it's go the process of cleavage, which change it into eight cell structure. After that, it's go again the cell division and form blastula. After blastula is formed, blastula is a kind of structure that's developed into gastrula by the process of gastrulation. After gastrula is produced, it is also known as a multilayer or a germ layer. It have layers like endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. They will develop into different body organs by the process of organogenesis. So the answer will be the gastrula. Question number 4 says that which of the following is a common characteristic of all vertebrates? The first one says that the division of body into head, neck, trunk, and tail. It's not true because some kind of animals doesn't have a tail or a trunk. Like when you say about human, it doesn't have both of them. It doesn't have a trunk or a tail. So it's not true. But humans are vertebrates. The B says that their bodies are covered with an exoskeleton. Their body is covered with an exoskeleton is one of characteristics of invertebrates in the class of insects. Insects, their body is covered with exoskeleton which is made up of chitin. They doesn't have endoskeleton, but vertebrates have endoskeleton. So it's not true. She said that the position of two pairs of functional appendages. Now it's not true. For animals, it doesn't have a pair of appendages. It can be one or something. So the answer will be G, the presence of a well-developed skull. All vertebrates, when we say about them, they have a backbone and a well-developed skull that protect their mind. So it's going to be D. Question number 5 says that why is sexual reproduction useful? A. It complexes in a very short period of time. B. It results in rapid production of many offspring. C. It increases genetic diversity, allowing organisms to survive in an unpredictable environment. D. It needs less energy and leads to genetic variation in offspring. When we say about the A, it says that it accommodates in a very short period of time. It's not true. It's a characteristic of asexual production. Sexual production can be occurred like in 1 hour or 24 hours or something. So it's a complete low period of time. But in the sexual production, it uses a long period of time. When you say humans, like for 9 months or something. This it results in rapid production of many offspring. Now, when we compare it to asexual reproduction, it produces less offspring. When we say human, it produces most probably one or sometimes two, like that. But when we say about like bacteria, fungus, or something, they produce by asexual reproduction. They produce like a million of offsprings in 1 hour. So it's not true. See that it increases genetic diversity, allowing organisms to survive in unpredictable environment. Yeah, it's true. When we say about the sexual reproduction, it's produced from two gametes, the male gamete and the female gamete. They will fuse to give a zygote, which the fusion of two nucleuses. That the fusion of two nucleuses, we call it a synegamy. After synegamy occurred, the two nucleuses are bonded in one. So it creates a genetic diversity. It contains 23 female gamete chromosomes and 23 male gamete chromosomes. So it creates a genetic diversity. That's true. The D says that it needs less energy and leads to genetic variation in offsprings. When we say about it needs less energy, now it's not true, but it leads to genetic variation, but it uses more energy than the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction can be completed with less amount of energy. So it's false. Now the answer will be C. Let's go to the other sections. When we say about the phenomena by which a female gamete develops into any organism without fertilization is called A. Synegamy, B. Parthenogenesis, C. Gametogenesis, D. Embryogenesis. The answer is parthenogenesis as I written in it, because parthenogenesis is the development of a female gametes into any organism without any fusion or any contact with the male gametes. It's most commonly in insects and other organisms. So the answer is parthenogenesis. Synegamy is the fusion of male and female gamete nucleuses. Gametogenesis is the development. It is the addition of the spermatogenesis and oogenesis, which is not that much within that description. Embryogenesis is the development of the zygote into embryo. So the answer is parthenogenesis. Metamorphosis of insects is regulated through hormone A, pheromone B, trioxin C, glycine D, all of the above. The answer is ecdysone, because pheromone is used in territorial and communication behavior. It's not within connection within the metamorphosis. Trioxin is used to control the rate of energy in the body, which is not the contaction, which doesn't have any contact with the metamorphosis, but ecdysone used to control the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a change in the development of insects. There are two kinds of metamorphosis, which are the complete metamorphosis and the incomplete metamorphosis. The difference between complete and incomplete metamorphosis are: the complete metamorphosis have mainly four stages, which are the egg, then which is developed into larva, which is active stage or feeding stage, and then it will develop into pupa, which is inactive stage or inherited stage. Then lastly, it will develop into adult, which is the reproductive stage. Most common examples of complete metamorphosis are like butterflies, beetles, moths. Those are the examples of insects that used complete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis have three stages. The first one is egg, which developed into the nymph. Nymph has its own five stages. After five stages, it will develop to adult. Examples of incomplete metamorphosis are grasshoppers, cockroaches, and termites. So that's the answer. When we proceed to the other question number 8 says that animals that have external fertilization produce a large number of gametes. What is the reason? The first one is that They are small in size, want to produce more offspring. B. To increase chance of fertilization in water. C. Sufficient food is available in water to feed offspring. D. Water promotes the productions of number of gametes. Animals which have external fertilization produce a large number of eggs for two reasons. Those are: the first reason is to protect them from drying out. From drying out. It protects them from drying out. The second reason is to stick them together. To stick them together. If they are stick together, the chance of the probability of survival from the water waves and the air waves will increase. And if the jelly-like cover of that egg is used for drying out, which are in the frog category. But when we see general external fertilization, they produce a large number of eggs for the survival of those offsprings. A. They are small in size and want to produce more offspring. Yep, it can be. B. To increase the chance of fertilization in water. Yeah, definitely the best answer is B. B is the best answer. When we say about the Earth's small in size, the size doesn't contribute to the production of the egg. When we say about like a size, like the crocodile egg is very big and the lizard also very big, so doesn't contribute to the egg widely or more oftenly. So the best answer will be to increase the chance of fertilization in water. The question number 9 says that which mating system involves male mating with multiple females during a reproductive season. Male mating with multiple females is where, if you remember, we discussed about these things in the crocodile reproduction. When we say about in crocodile reproduction, crocodiles are polygamous. They mate with different kinds of females in a one season. But when you say about in birds, there are two kinds of matings, which are the monogamous and the polygamous. Monogamous is the mating between single male and female in a single breeding season, but polygamous is the mating between the single male with different females in a single mating season. So the answer will be polygamy. The site of fertilization in chicken is, when we say about chicken, chicken is one group of poultry, or her reproduction system is similar within the bird. When we say about reproduction system of the bird, the female has parts. The female part called vagina, it has its own five parts inside it, which are the infundibulum, the upper portion of the vagina, after that the magnum, which is the longest portion. After that, the isthmus, the shortest portion, the uterus, the part in which the egg spend most of the time, and the last is the vagina by itself. So those are the classes of vagina. Infundibulum, it is the main site of fertilization. Magnum, it is used to produce an organelle called albumin, which is the white part of the egg. Isthmus is used to produce the internal and outer shell membrane of the egg shell. But the uterus used to produce the eggshell by itself, which is mostly made up of sulfur. And the last vagina is the exit duct that used to transmit the egg from the vagina part toward the cloaca. So the site of fertilization in chicken is called, like I have said in this, the answer is infundibulum. Question number 11 says that which of the following is called resting or inactive stage in the insect life cycle. Like I discussed with you in the metamorphosis question, which is in the question number 7, there are two types of metamorphosis, the complete and the incomplete metamorphosis. The complete has 4 stages, the incomplete has 3 stages. The larva stage is the active or feeding stage, and the pupa stage is the inactive or inherited stage. So the question says that which of the following is called a resting or inactive stage. Resting or inactive stage is the pupa stage. So let's proceed to the other question. Considered to be beneficial because they are A. Infective pollinators, B. Source of useful products and potential protein, C. Biological control agents, D. All the above. This is a simplest and obvious question, so the answer is D. All the above. When laying eggs, a female insect returns to her larva host plant, even though she has not fed upon this plant during her adult life. This is an example of the answer is instrumental learning, which is also known as operant conditioning. Operant conditioning. Behavioral patterns that change drastically over lifetime of an insect are probably A. Learned, B. Innate, C. Afferent, D. None of the above. The answer is A. Learned because when you see afferent is another name of taxis. Afferent means taxis. It is a directional response or a directional behavior. So it is an innate behavior. It's considered under an innate category. Innate behavior consists of three things, which are the instinctive behavior, the simple reflex, and the orientational behavior, and taxis inside of the orientational behavior, which is innate. So the answer is behavioral. The answer is learned. Learned or acquired behavior is through experience, through learning, through the process of learning. It is acquired. So when we see it, it can be changed through experience. When we see like habituation, habituation can be changed. Habit can change your life. There are a lot of inspired pupils which thought about habit. We can change our habit to change our life. So habit can be changed because it is a learned behavior. So the answer will be A, learned. Number 15 says a certain insect usually becomes active each day at a dusk. If it kept it in the dark all day, it will still become active around the sunset even though it cannot see the sun. This behavior is an example of transverse rotation. Yeah, it's similar within the afferent or taxis, so it cannot be a circadian rhythm. Yes, it is because the circadian rhythm is a biological clock. That animal doesn't see the sunset, but he become active without seeing the sunset. That the sun sets or rises. He doesn't know anything, but it becomes active because there is a biological clock inside it, which is considered in a circadian rhythm or a, a kind of periodic change in a day to day. So the answer is circadian rhythm. But when you see the other choices, she says that diurnal behavior. Diurnal behavior is a kind of behavior which the animal becomes active in a day but inactive at night. Some animals are active in a day, inactive at night. At night they will go to sleep or something. But the doesn't the body doesn't move at all at night. So that kind of behavior is diurnal. Let's know the answer. Exogenous entrainment is a kind of behavior where the external cue disappeared, then the internal response also disappeared. So that kind of behavior are called exogenous entrainment. So it's not the answer at all. So when we go to the other questions, question number 16 says arrange the followings into order. So when we arrange the followings into order, the first things we have to consider is what? The stimulus. Stimulus is a change in the environment which seeks a response. After stimulus is occurred, it will detect by a receptor. Receptor dictates the change in the environment and sends information toward the control center. And the control center is usually the brain. It will receive the information from the receptor and sends command toward the effector to counteract that stimulus, and the effector will produce a response. So when we arrange it, it will become 5, 3, 1, 2, and 4. Those are the arrangements. Mistakenly, they have forgotten to put 4 in here, so we're gonna put it, and the answer will be D. Let's proceed to the other question, which is the question number 17, which says the mechanism of regulation of solids and loss and gain of water in human is known as A. Homeostasis, B. Thermoregulation, C. Osmoregulation, D. Peculiotherms. The answer is osmoregulation. When osmoregulation is the maintenance of or the regulations of the osmotic fluid in the body and other electrolytic fluids. So the answer is osmoregulation. Homeostasis can be if there is no osmoregulation. So the answer is osmoregulation. But if there is no osmoregulation, the choice is homeostasis definitely the answer. Don't forget this. What does glucagon promote in the liver? There are two kinds of hormones in the body, which are insulin, and glucagon. When you say about insulin, it is due to change the excess glucose into a polysaccharide called glycogen. But when you say about glucagon is due to change the glycogen into glucose. The reverse of that of the insulin's function. So glucagon is due to change the glucose into glycogen, which is releases when there is an excess, where there is a deficiency in glucose. The pancreas will release the glucagon, but if there is an excess amount of glucose in the body, it will release insulin to change it into glycogen and stored in the liver. The glycogen is stored in the liver. After that, it is stored in the liver. If there is deficiency in the glucose, it will get out and the glycogen is changed into glucose by glucagon, and that's the cycle of maintaining the blood sugar level in the body. So A, the hydrolysis of glycogen, B, hydrolysis of glucose, C, glycogen production, D, release of insulin. The answer is the hydrolysis of the glycogen. The answer is the hydrolysis of the glycogen. Glycogen is hydrolyzed into glucose by the process of by the hormone called glucagon. So the answer is A. What is the reason why smaller mammals have higher metabolic rates? A. Higher surface area to volume ratio. B. Lower surface area to volume ratio. C. Lower lifespans. D. More frequent exposure. The reason is they have higher surface area to volume ratio. When you say about, for example, when you say two animals, the first one is which is rat and elephant. Rat has a small size compared to the elephant. Elephant have larger size, but when we take their surface area to volume ratio, the rat is higher than that of the elephant. So the rat have higher metabolic rates, or the rat have higher cellular spallation. They consume like twice of their body in a day. So the reason is because they have higher surface area to volume ratio. The answer is A. What happens when blood sugar level what happens when blood sugar levels become too high? A. Insulin is secreted, causing the conversion of glucose to glycogen. Glucagon is secreted, causing the conversion of glucose to glycogen. C. Insulin is secreted, causing the conversion of glycogen to glucose. D. All of the above. If, like I said in the above, if the amount of sugar level in the body is very high, the insulin will be secreted to change that excess glucose into a polysaccharide called glycogen. So the answer is A. Why do hairs on our skin sometimes stand up when we are cold? Be- Before discussing on the above equation, we have to discuss the physiological methods of regulating our body. Those are: the first one is sweating, second one is vasodilation, third one is vasoconstriction, the fourth one is shivering or metabolic response, the fifth one is piloerection, and the sixth one is about the subcutaneous fat, which is fat insulating under the skin. So those are the physiological method of regulating the body temperature. From that, sweating, vasodilation are used when the body temperature is very high, but vasoconstriction and metabolic responses are used when the body temperature is very low. Piloerection is used in both of them, which consists two things. The hair will be upright like this if the body's temperature is very low, but they will be but uh, they will like sleep on the skin if the body's temperature is very high. If they are erected like this, the air can move throughout them to insulate the heat from losing up. But if they sleep like this, the air can't move through them. So the heat can be loosed easily by using convection process. So the answer will be, after reading the choices, to know when we are frightened. Frightened means scaring from something. It doesn't just have any connection with the question above. To trap air under them in order to keep us warmer. Yep, it can be. C. To release air in order to cool us. No. To trap air under them in order to keep us cooler. No. The answer is B. The hairs will upright for the hairs will be upright in order to make the air flow through them to insulate like this. After that, it prevents the heat loss from the sun by sweating or something. So the answer is B. What happens if the core body temperature is too high? A. The blood vessels supplying the capillaries constrict. Now, the blood vessels constrict when the temperature inside the body is very low. So it cannot be the answer. B. The body decreases sweating. Nah, it increases sweating. Sweating is like I discussed you above. Sweating is used for when the body temperature is very too high. It is to release heat. So they will increase, not decrease. See, the blood vessel supplying the capillaries dilate. Yep. Vasodilation is used when the body temperature is very high. The body shivers to produce heat. Now, metabolic response or shivering is used when the body temperature is very low. So the answer is C. When an animal is placed in a hot environment, it loses heat by sweating, whereas when to cold environment, it increases muscular activity to produce more heat. The animal is a thought it used a physiological behavior to regulate its body temperature. So organisms that use physiological behavior to regulate their body temperatures are called homeotherms. Homeotherms. But when you say about like picliotherms, they use behavioral methods to regulate their body temperature. So these organisms use physiological method or physiological behavior. So the organism is definitely homeothermic. An increase in blood sugar level causes the pancreas to release of the hormone insulin. Insulin lowers the blood sugar level, restoring the body into its original blood glucose level by converting glucose into glycogen. This example of negative feedback because the activation of insulin decreases the glucose level in the body. The activation of one stimulus is decreased by the activation of another response. So the activation of one thing decreases or makes the deactivation so other. So it's definitely negative feedback. So that's the multiple choices. When we discuss about the short answers, we will discuss roughly.